All right, good morning. Thanks for being here with us today. I want to take a quick poll. How many of you are in the customer engagement side of Dynamics 365? Excellent. And F&O or retail? Thank you. All right, well, for those of you that I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Louis. I'm joined by Ramanai, and together we wanted to briefly talk, I know this is only a 15-20 minute session, on what are some of the changes that are coming for Dynamics 365 and how we're doing updates. There are three main things that I wanted to cover today, and then we'll go into the details as to what we are going to be doing to prepare you, but there will be also some things that you will need to do for next April. So with that, let's go ahead and kick things off. There are now two major releases that we are doing every year. They're always going to be in April, they're always going to be in October. Minor updates will still continue to happen in the background. They are not as disruptive, if you would, but it's important to note that for this, we've done some things in the background that you should be aware of and prepare for. We're also going to start, I know we've heard a lot of feedback from our partners, a lot of feedback from our customers on early visibility and having access to bits. So we're working, I think now is for the past 8 months or so, we've been working on release notes. We started that in April of this year in our docs.microsoft.com site. And we just, I think back in July, we announced the October release notes that you should check out. And I think we did an update last Monday as well. That includes our AI capabilities now in that document. This is part of that predictability that we have embarked on to make sure that you're aware as to what's coming early on in the process within these updates. But something that is also net new is we've been working on pre-release bits. They're not available yet, but they're going to be available, and we'll probably announce this at the end of this year, a couple of months prior to the April 2019 update. So stay tuned for that. Basically, the purpose of this, you'll be able to test your solutions, figure out if there's any issues with your deployment, and take action, and obviously try out the new capabilities. And last but not least, I did want to cover that where we are going, and the reason why we're doing all of these is we want everyone to be on the same version of the application. Now, that doesn't mean that we are going to force you on the day that comes out. You still have the choice to drive when you want to receive this update. But as we'll dive shortly on the details, there will be a time window, right? So you can postpone the update for 2 years. Let's just say that. Okay, we want everyone to be testing out the latest capabilities, but these capabilities are going to be opt-in. So we'll do the update, but we won't disrupt your system. You'll be able to turn these things on, and you'll be able to be in full control as well. So with that, there are a few things that we wanted to communicate as well as to what else are we doing and what do we need you to do to prepare for this. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Ramana and to wrap up the session. Thanks.
Thanks, Louis. Am I audible? Okay.
Yeah.
So we covered what and why. So what else is pending? How and when? Right? That's what I'm going to cover. How part. So when we talk about update process, this is not a marketing statement or a PR statement from Microsoft. Though Louis from marketing, we are not making a marketing statement here. Microsoft has made a huge investment on this continuous update progress. Again, this is not something we are doing it now. We have already started for the past 6+ months. If you are already familiar with the CE April 2018 release or a Spring 2018 release, or the one upcoming October 2018 release, we have already taken care of that. And in fact, we'll be continuously doing it going forward. What does it mean here? When we talk about continuous deployment, so we need to have the mind shift from what we have done so far, because what we have done so far is a big upgrade people are in 8.0, they have to upgrade to 8.1. From 8.1, they have to take a big upgrade to 8.2. I'm talking about a CE world. Same in FNO, you'll be on 7.0 to upgrade to 7.1, to upgrade to 7.2, to upgrade to 7.3, which means that on one day you have to allocate you have to have a plan for this one. Like there is a downtime for your servers, you will not be able to access it. It's a big chunk of code we were pushing it to you on a particular day. Rather, think about a true SaaS services model where there is a continuous update happening on every day or every week. In our scenario, it's going to be dynamics every week. So we are going to have a continuous small chunks of code happening on this. If you are familiar with the CE world where there is weekly updates, you are familiar with like 8.2.2.1234 is a build number, or 9.0.1 something, there's a build number coming. Those are all the weekly updates happening to you regularly, which means that there's a performance improvement happening on that build, along with the reliability updates happening, plus there is also small features coming along with that. When I say small features, don't worry about small features. Those small features will be behind the feature control bits, which means that you will not able to see those features coming to you. This will not be a disruptive changes from the UI standpoint. You will not be able to see those unless the April and October moment when we coming there. On the October moment, we allow you to enable them. We are not enabling it for you. We allow you as an admin, you can enable on your environment, say that, okay, I'm going to try out this feature on my dev box. I'm going to try out this feature on my test box. Once I'm happy, let me opt in to go and try out in the production box. So which means that even for the one which is coming next week, we have majority of the code already available in your current 9.x. If you're already 9.x environment, the majority of the code is already available, all of them in the behind the feature control bits. We haven't turned on them. We will not be turning on them. We will be allowing you to turn on you from October onwards. We'll continue to this one. So that's where there is a true SaaS model. Like if you are familiar with the Azure, how it works, how Office works, they always do a continuous deployment regularly. You will not be able to know that, okay, there's a big change happening on that. Same model we want to follow on the Dynamics world too. So there's a continuous deployment happening on that. So there is a question around backward compatibility. We also do a backward compatibility to make sure that the existing first-party solution or a third-party solution is not breaking because of the continuous updates. We will continuously monitor through our telemetry. We try to catch as soon as possible if there is something breaking. We will try to fix that. Or if there is any reported issue from the customer, we try to fix it immediately and make sure that the fixes is going along with the next pushes as well. That's what our commitment from Microsoft. Then safe deployment, again, if you are familiar with Azure, we are not doing a big bang deployment across all of their regions. We go with one after other. What we do here is safe deployment. We always try with a first release instance, which is our first test environment there, where we keep our test boxes there, along with some of the customers keep their test boxes too. We deploy in that solution as a first ring. As a first time, we deploy that. Following week, we deploy into the following region, like one region after other. For example, after the first release, we'll be doing it like APJ, India, we do this one. Then we'll go forward. Finally, we deploy into North America as well as the Europe regions, which is our major list of customers available there. Which means that this has been already tested across various regions, and any bugs have been fixed along with that. So when we are deploying in the NAM region, we'll be having all of them have been fixed, as well as all of the things we already started working on that. This is the model we are going to follow for the Dynamics as well. It's a safe deployment approach. As I mentioned, admin can opt in the features as well whenever they want to opt in for a particular feature to be tested before actually rolling out into production. Which means that we are making sure that business continuity is happening on this. Since we are leaving it to the admin to choose when they want to opt in, we are continuously doing that business continuity in terms of business continuity for the customers, not for us, business continuity for you, to make sure that there is no disruption at all. And our principle always remains same: leave no customer behind. We make sure that if there is any bugs reported, we make it as a SEV2 immediate incident, and we'll start working on the fix immediately and make sure that that fix has been deployed to you immediately. That's what our goal here. And you may be having questions because people who are in 8.1 or older, or as well as in the FNO world, 7-point customers, you always have a deprecations. So we always announce a particular feature has been deprecated. In a continuous deployment world, there is something called a deprecation. We can't just deprecate an item. So in this scenario, what we'll plan to bring here is we always try to bring the equal feature along with that, where that feature will stay along with that existing deprecated item for almost a year plus, or year I would say. And we constantly monitor through our telemetry to see if there is people start moving into the latest feature, as well as we start advising them to move on to the latest feature. Once we see that the particular feature has been stopped using, then we start deprecating them, rather than on a particular day we just pull the plug. We don't do that. Okay? All right, so which comprises of 4-step process going forward. This is mostly applicable from April 2019 onwards. Some of them applicable in October, but most of them in April 2019 onwards. Release notes that will be available for you at least 2 months in advance. We never done that before. We started doing it from spring release onwards, spring 2018, and you might have already seen the October 2018 release notes. That is already out, that is already published. You can see that. Sandbox availability. On top of it, you are going to do that. What is releasing in the release notes? How am I going to test in the sandboxes? So we are enabling a sandbox for you to test as well, which means that somewhere around early next year, before that April release happening, we will be allowing you to provision a sandboxes to test the latest features in the sandboxes environment. Before even you opt in that features in your existing dev or sandboxes, you can try out in the previous sandboxes here. Then you can opt in for a production before we start mandating those updates in your organizations. You can opt in for a production. When do you want to deploy those solutions in that? Finally, automatic updates from 1st of April onwards, we start pushing that new bits on your environment. Again, we follow the safe deployment approach, a ring-based approach. We don't deploy all in once. We deploy first set of regions, then we'll go forward with that. All right, so this talks about what you're supposed to do and what you need to do now, as well as when you need to do it. First one is for a CE customers. If you are on version 8.2, we have already sent across emails thrice to you, as well as telling you that you have to schedule your updates. Please plan your schedule update by January 31st, 2019. Else, we are going to schedule your updates. We start rolling out the 9.x version. Starting from October update, we are going to have a 9.1 version. Those who are in 9.0 right now will automatically get 9.1. It is not, you're not going for a CDU, you don't need to do an upgrade here. That's why I mentioned about the mindset change. We are going to update your database automatically, so the version calls 9.1. It is similar to our spring release where you had 9.0.2, which happened in spring 2018. Similar to that, there is an update automatically happens through a safe deployment approach. Again, any features coming out will be behind the feature control bits, allow you to enable them. There's no breaking UI features will be allowed for you. I mean, all will be behind the feature control bits, so we'll let you do this one. For the unified operations app, we have 5 versions currently available. So we do the same process for them too. For the customers who are in 7.0 to 7.2, we have to update by March 2019. 7.3 customers, you have the same timeline, but there are some unfulfilled extension requests for the FNO customers where Microsoft have acknowledged that we are going to work on that unfulfilled request. They have that extension request for those customers. They can stay on this until April 2020. The remaining customers have to upgrade, or I would say I won't put it as upgrade, have to update to the latest version by that time frame. We will have a version 8.1 happening on October, which is happening following week. Version 10 is the one happening from April 2019 onwards. As you see, we already skipped one version in FNO. From April 2019, we'll have only one version called 10.0 across CE as well as in FNO. Again, think about this, an update is happening on there is no upgrade happening on you. So question from the talent customers or the business central, there is no change here because these are all already on a continuous update progress. They're already on the latest version, so there is already a one version for them. So customers who are on premises, we are going to release one version next month, and there is no change to the support lifecycle. Whatever is continuous is going to continue there for them. For FNO customers, we are releasing 2 releases per year, and they are already on a modern support lifecycle policy, so the online policy will be applicable for them too. So in terms of recommendations, For the customers who are on older versions, when I say older versions, for a CE 8.2, basically 8.2. For the customers who are on FNO, which is basically 7.x, along with it 8.0, please plan and schedule your update as soon as possible. That's your current plan of action. Latest version who are customers on 9.0, this is what we expect for the October release, which is going to be a review and understand the release notes. We already released the release notes. Please go through that and understand. There is an insider program. The next slide will talk about the URL for that insider program too. Please go through that and understand what is insider program. We are already offering previews for you. Please go through and utilize those previews as well. And we also plan to release something called a first release. Those who are interested to know about first release, please check with me. I'll be providing more information on the Q&A. And for April 29 onwards, we have some additions on top of what we do on October release. One is we will be providing a sandboxes early next year, where you can start getting the previous sandboxes, try out the latest features happening on April 2019 release. And you can schedule your updates for the production one as well for the April 2019 release. With that, these are the resources what we have. If you want to take a photo, you can do that one before I move on to the next slide. All right, thank you. With this, I'm opening for Q&A. Are we on time?
Oh, we have 4 minutes. Good old 4 minutes. Yes, sir.
So the GCC has always been behind. How is that going to change?
So GCC updates is happening along with it too. So when we say continuous updates, the continuous update is happening like first thing is, as I mentioned, is our first release version. Then we move on to each region. The fifth train, we call it as, that is going to be for the dedicated customers as well as for a GCC. So this is applicable for GCC customers too.
So did I see that 8.2 is going to be up to 9.0 by January for GCC as well?
No, that I'm not completely sure. I will connect with you that what is the criteria for a GCC. This is purely for commercial customers.
Yeah, you have a very specific, and yeah, let's take that offline. If you don't mind, we'll follow up with you on that. Yeah.
For small customers, how are you planning to help?
I'm sorry, so repeat the question. So let's repeat the question. So what happens, we do want to, the question is what happens to people that cannot update, right, on time, right? Specifically the SMB groups, right? So we do have a policy on no customer left behind as well. So we are going to work, in parallel in all of this, we're working with our partners that have obviously solutions out there to make sure that when the update time comes, everything works seamlessly. So theoretically, the update should not be breaking. Notice that what I said theoretically, based on, because I'm not sure the context of the customizations, but we are working with partners to make sure that the upgrade to, for instance, SMBs for the most part have ISV solutions on top. So we're working with these guys to make sure that their solution is also working. They're having early access to these bits as well, so to make sure that the upgrades go seamless.
And one more point to add, if you see that the current ISVs, they are managing multiple CE versions as well as, because their solution has to work on multiple CE versions. When we move on to one version, all need to focus on only one version. So their improvement is also happening on that. They'll be focusing on only one version. So there's a possibility of breaking would be of lesser, because if I'm an ISV, if I have developed a solution for 8.2 and 9.0, then I have to start focusing on both of them. I have to support both of them, versus I'll be focusing only on version 10 and its current corresponding updates. So it should work all the time, because we are doing all the updates in the backend seamlessly. And any feature, if there is any UI disruption, we always make sure that that is being turned on by the admins. You are opting in rather than we push it to automatically.
Yes.
Did I understand it right? We are on version 9.
Mm-hmm.
The upgrade will
No,
So-
you. So,
For a 9.0 customer, what's the plan on this one? Is that a question for you, right?
Yeah.
For a 9.0 customers, you will get automatic update starting from October onwards. You'll become a 9.1.
No, but you're still going to be able to schedule this. Yeah. Yes. You're still going to be able to pick a date. Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to just. Yeah, typically the trickle down is 5-6 weeks to make it out of Redmond into the world. So it's depending on where you are and which zone. It may be anywhere from 1 to 5 weeks, 6 weeks after our GA date, which is next week.
October 1st.
Yeah. The email that you're going to receive will give you that window. So it's basically going to say you have this window of time from this date to that date, right? So pick, yes. When are these emails going out? I mean,
Probably.
yeah. They're
Just
starting
be
to. We're
Trickle
starting
down
to
that
flood
emails.
the inboxes.
And yeah. So we have 2 releases happening. One is on the weekly updates happening on it. That too happen to you. It will happen to the first release program as well as across all of them. So it's going to be the same. It will follow the same model of safe deployment. It goes one ring after other. Even the major release when we are rolling out during October and April, that will also follow the same model around. First it will come to one region, then it will trickle down to corresponding regions too.
Can you do the fast release in a sandbox to get ahead of those?
Yes, that's where we call it. So his question is, can we do a fast release and a sandbox? So we have a program called Fast Release. Currently it's in a private preview where you can opt in to have one of your environments available on the first release region, which is basically if you are from Europe, you can keep Europe, there is one first release region available there. You can keep one of your sandbox there. We go and apply that on the first time when we are doing it. So it will take, if you are in Europe, it takes 5 weeks for you to get that update onto your actual dev or sandbox environment. So you have a time to test for 5 weeks before that. So right now it's in a private preview for a limited set of customers. Due to the capacity, we'll be opening it soon. I'm just waiting for the engineering team to confirm. So it's mostly before another 1 or 2 months time, we'll be able to open for all the customers to opt in for that particular one. So please log into the insider program. So experience or dynamic, if you can.
Yeah, let's go back to that slide.
Just move back. Yeah. The insiders program, experience.dynamics.com. If you register, if you are part of the member, then you can start seeing that as well. So insiders program have 2 programs underneath. One is called preview program, where you can see the early feature bits as well. Right now there are a couple of previews happening. Mm-hmm. The other one is called a first release program, where you can opt in to keep one of your servers in the first release region, so you always get the latest bits there.
And we're continuing to update that page as well with more details. So stay tuned for those because we just recently launched this a couple of weeks back, I think. So more updates will come. Yes?
Yes. So from 8.2 to 9.1, the question is 8.2 to 9.1, do we need to directly go there? So it answers depends. So if you have scheduled your 8.2 upgrade now, you have already scheduled it. If it is happening, say for example, first week of October, then you first automatically move to 9.0 because 9.0 is not available in your region. Then afterwards, the 9.1 will be automatically applied. When I say automatically applied, similar to a weekly deployment, how it is happening, the 9.1 will automatically applied on your environment too. So similar to database update, what we do on a patches one, similarly it will apply onto 9.1. So it depends upon when is your schedule. If you're doing it somewhere around December, you automatically move from 8.2 to 9.1. Again, 9.0, 9.1 are not 2 different versions. It's more towards like 9.0 becomes 9.1 from the versioning standpoint. So that's why it's like it's not upgrade, it's going to be update going forward.
All right, I think we've ran out of time, but we're going to stay here on the side for more questions. Thank you very much for being here with us, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thanks.
Thank you.